The planet is just one giant ecosystem. And if you don't take care of one part of it, there's a knock-on effect that is going to affect other parts of the ecosystems. And eventually it's going to come due and it's going to affect you. In a prior life, I worked in agriculture. One of my main responsibilities when I was in farming was to promote water-saving technologies. But we're doing that at the expense of putting in miles and miles and miles of plastic tubing. And we were having to rip out all the old plastic tubing as well. And one day I came upon a 1 acre square pile of plastics that was about 30 feet high. And that was all my waste plastic from my projects. And it was kind of that moment I was like, I am doing the wrong thing with my life. Well, the mission of Renegade Plastics is to build a circular economy for industrial coated textiles. It took me a couple of years to kind of find how I was going to fit into it. And that's when I met Tony, my co-founder, who had this idea of developing a circular economy for industrial coated textiles. There was really an opportunity here to grow something bigger than we anticipated.
I bought my tent company, American Tent, in 2014. We use a lot of PVC fabrics. They do contain some chemicals to make them flexible, and also at end of life, they get thrown into the trash. And so that's a big reason for me to want to make a change.
We want to replace toxic and unrecyclable materials that are currently used in the industry. We're never going to get towards a more sustainable economy if we're still using toxic and unrecyclable materials. Mission 2 is to then build a pathway to recover those materials. So we're working with recycling partners and we're building those reverse logistics pathways to ensure that those materials don't end up either in the environment or in landfills.
15% by weight of landfills are textiles. Circularity is always the goal, making sure that things start in your product, get out to the customer and the end user, but you want to get those back to a recycling facility.
We've had a number of different industries where they've realized that our materials have better UV stability, they're more chemically resistant to certain chemicals, and so we're actually outlasting legacy materials. So they're actually seeing an ROI that they weren't even expecting. We focus our sales and marketing efforts on industries where we are going to be able to deliver that ROI to customers. So we're focusing on industries where not only do our products work really well, but it delivers a good return on investment for our customers. I was more interested in the outcome than the vehicle to get there. My perspective was, as long as I was focused on reducing plastic waste and reducing the presence of toxins in, our lives, I was passionate about it. And so, it could have been one of 100 different use cases, but I think I particularly fell in love with this one because it intersects so many different industries. And it also keeps it really interesting because we are always learning new things every day. We're already selling it into at least 48 different industries. And so I think it allows us to have an even greater impact than had we just been focused on, plastic water bottles.
So we have a consumer tarp line that we sell right now on Amazon, on our website, working ourselves into retail. I like it because it's different than the blue tarps you would typically see, right? So blue tarp's going to shred up after maybe 6 months. Microplastics is one of those things you hear about now. A lot of microplastics in our blood, and so the fact that ours don't contribute to the microplastic problem is pretty cool.
People got into this mantra that eco-friendly, sustainable means more expensive. Retailers say, well, we want the green premium. Renegade wants to change that. We want to achieve our mission without a green premium.
It is really important to do big things in industries that need those big changes to be able to help the planet.
We want to leave the world a cleaner and healthier place for future generations and our children.